All right, Valentine's Day is coming. Let's talk about the fiance visa for all those couples that might be getting engaged sometime soon. Hi, I'm Julie Kruger. I'm the owner of Kruger Immigration Law. Kruger Immigration Law is a boutique immigration law firm headquartered in Buffalo, New York, where we love helping individuals, families, and businesses achieve their dreams without borders. If you have an immigration case and would like to speak with me, give me a call. My phone number is 716-393-9878, or you can email me at julie@krugerimmigrationlaw.com, and you can submit an inquiry through our website at www.krugerimmigrationlaw.com. So if you are engaged to a United States citizen, you may be eligible for a fiancé visa. Or if you are a U.S. citizen who recently got engaged to someone who is from outside the United States, you may be interested in sponsoring your new fiancé for a fiancé visa. So let's talk about what that process is. The fiancé visa is a 3-step process. At the end of step 2, your fiancé will actually come to the United States and you'll be able to be together in the United States and get married. But the total process is actually a 3-step process. So let's break it down step by step. Step 1 is going to be the U.S. citizen's petition for alien fiancé. It's the I-129F. And it's a bunch of forms and documentation that the U.S. citizen files with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And it's to show that the U.S. citizen is a U.S. citizen, and that the couple has met in person within the last 2 years, and that they intend to marry within 90 days of the foreign national entering the United States. And you'll notice here I did say U.S. citizen several times. The fiancé visa is not available for fiancés of lawful permanent residence. This is only for U.S. citizens. So the U.S. citizen files the I-129F and all the supporting documentation with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. Average processing time we see for that is going to be likely around 6 to 9 months. Once that step is approved, then we move on to step 2, which is going to be the K-1 fiancé process. This process is focused more on the foreign national, the person outside the United States. The foreign national will submit the DS-160 non-immigrant visa application, schedule an interview at the consulate or embassy closest to them that handles fiancé cases, and then go to that interview. Here, the fiancé needs to show that he or she is eligible for permanent residence in the United States. Basically, doesn't have certain criminal convictions, doesn't have certain previous immigration violations. The petitioner, the U.S. citizen, has to show that he or she can support the foreign national in the United States once they come to the United States. So there's going to be a little bit of showing of income or assets of the U.S. citizen. The foreign national is also showing that they intend to come to the United States and get married within 90 days, and that relationship is still a real relationship. So then the foreign national, if they're approved at the embassy or consulate, the consular officer places a K-1 visa stamp in the passport, in the foreign national's passport, and the foreign national enters the United States during the time that visa is valid. It's usually valid for about 4 to 6 months, maybe tied to the medical exam. So foreign national enters the United States on that K-1 visa. That completes step 2. Now we move on to step 3. So the couple is now together in the United States finally. And I didn't say that step 2 is probably going to take also, typically it would take about 4 months pre-COVID. During these COVID times, we are seeing that the embassies and consulates have been processing fiancé visas very slowly. So it's really difficult to estimate generally how long the fiancé visa, the K-1 step 2 process is going to take right now. And it's really going to vary widely per country and what the COVID situation is in each country. So once step 2 is complete, the fiancé enters the United States. Then within 90 days, the couple has to marry. This is a really, really important requirement. Day 91 is not going to be good enough. The couple has to get married within 90 days. And then once the couple is married, the foreign national can then begin step 3 of the immigration process, and that is going to be the application to adjust status. So what happens with that is that the foreign national submits the form I-485 to USCIS with all the supporting forms and documentation to show that they are, again, eligible for a green card in the United States, eligible for permanent residence. That application can include a work authorization application and a travel authorization application. But so that's important to note that foreign national, when they come into the United States, get married within 90 days and then file for adjustment of status, all of that time period until they're approved for work authorization, they're not going to be able to work in the United States. So that potentially could be maybe 6 months or longer, depending on how quickly you file that adjustment of status application and then how quickly USCIS processes it. And then also same thing with travel. The K-1 visa is a one-time entry visa. That means when you have the K-1 visa, you can come into the United States one time and then you can get married. If you leave the United States without having travel authorization, you can't come back into the United States without a new visa. So that's a really important thing to know. That means that the U.S., the foreign national is not going to be able to travel outside the United States, is not going to be able to work in the United States for several months after their arrival. That adjustment of status application, it's the forms, the supporting documentation, again showing that the foreign national is eligible for permanent residence, doesn't have certain criminal convictions, doesn't have certain previous immigration violations, vaccinations are up to date. Petitioner is going to do an affidavit of support to show that he or she can support the foreign national. And now, of course, the form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, evaluating whether or not the foreign national has the education and the English speaking ability and the employment history and the general background to be able to support him or herself in the United States. So that third process goes through USCIS. And that processing time also is going to vary really widely depending on which office your case is going to go through, your application is going to process through, and that's going to depend solely on your geographical location. Where do you live? Your case is going to process at the office closest to you. You don't get to choose where it processes. So at the Buffalo office, it's a smaller office with less applications. We tend to see faster processing times. If you're in a large city that's going to receive a high volume of applications, you're going to see a longer processing time for that third application. So that at the end of that process, if your case is approved, the document that you get is finally your green card. And that third step, that application to adjust status, may involve an interview with you and your fiance, and it may not. It may be approved without interview. That will depend on the specifics of your case. So that is a sort of general overview of the fiance visa process, where a U.S. citizen is sponsoring their fiance, ultimately for a green card. A 3-step process. Step 1, the petition for alien fiance. Step 2, the K-1 visa process. And step 3, the application to adjust status. So if you are a U.S. citizen who's engaged to a foreign national, or a foreign national engaged to a U.S. citizen, and you're thinking about the fiance process, give us a call. We can talk you through the whole process, the specifics of your case, the unique things about you, and whether this is the right process for you and your fiance to go through, where your case will process, what the processing times will be, all the different things that might happen along the way. Give us a call. My phone number is 716-393-9878. My email is julie@krugerimmigrationlaw.com, and you can submit an inquiry through our website at www.krugerimmigrationlaw.com. Thanks so much for joining us. If you like this video, please follow us, like our page, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We upload regular videos, tips and tricks on immigration matters and the way that cases process, immigration news. So thanks so much for joining us, and have a great night.